Welcome to 5 Points Blues presentation of Back to the Basics. Everything you wanted to know about Cowboys football, but were too afraid to ask. Here are your hosts, Nikki Harrison and Christy Scales.
To the Basics, I'm Nikki Harrison here with Christy Scales, and we have a guest, Kelsey Charles. You may remember Kelsey. She was back with us on the lunch break, on Talking Cowboys, and she was one of the...
And I still have a drop.
Yes.
And an original 5 Points Bluer.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
So
2.5
welcome.
years ago. Yeah. So thank you. And,
Thanks.
And Kelsey is out here every week because she's now with the marketing arm and covers Cowboys for AT&T. That's her account. And you have a very high-profile player that you work very closely with.
He's all right, I guess.
I guess.
Tell everybody what it's like to work with Dak Prescott and some of the things that you do with him, AT&T, and the Cowboys.
Yeah, so thanks again, guys, for having me. I'm excited to be here. I mean, as you all mentioned, I used to work here, yes, so you may recognize me a little bit. Love 5 Points Blue, had a big hand in that, have a lot of respect for the platform and what you guys are doing. Now I am doing full-time sports marketing, so as you mentioned, I work with AT&T, and I manage the AT&T Stadium, the Star, Dallas Cowboys, and the relationship with Dak Prescott for AT&T. So I'm out here a lot.
I like that.
I know. I come here every home week, and I do a little video series with Dak. You can see it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's going to be a little bit behind the scenes on really what's going through his mind when he goes into these big games and these home games. And some fun facts, like last week we learned that one of his big things that he likes to do, he doesn't have any superstitions, but his ritual is to have spaghetti and chicken and ranch before every home game.
Together?
Together. That's a thing. That is a thing. So just fun facts like that. It gives you guys a little bit of behind the scenes on who he is. He's a great guy, so it's really fun to work with him.
What's he really like, though? Because the Cowboys fans, when they see him, even like the post-game interviews, if people watch that, they stream it, or they see the bits where it's in front of his locker every Wednesday going into the game, but when the cameras aren't around him, what's he like?
So he's just, I hate to be cliche and say this, but he's just he's a genuine great guy. Yeah. We were having this conversation, I think we filmed on like Halloween night, and he was saying how excited he was to go out and be a Ninja Turtle, and you see on the news later that he does this huge setup for the kids in the neighborhood where they reenact a scene from Ninja Turtles every single time a kid comes up, and it's just genuine who he is. He doesn't have to be like that. He wasn't doing it for any other reason than just to have fun with him. So it's been a blast working with him, and he's just such a great person and great example of who you should be as a player. So it's been fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it.
Yes.
Give us a call, 214-872-2102. So, after Sunday's awful loss to Atlanta, speaking of Dak, having to recover from that type of game, last week we talked about offense. We went over a play that we got exclusively from Coach. We may get to a run play, but I just want to talk about the importance of the positions that we have had to, have other players in those positions, and how important we saw how important, i.e. left tackle, was on Sunday.
Yeah, Tyron Smith missed the game, and he likely could miss this coming one too because of a groin injury. And Tyron is a perennial Pro Bowl and All-Pro left tackle. So we've talked before about the offensive line and how you have 5 offensive linemen, and the left tackle is the far left side. And why is that important? Because most quarterbacks, including ours, Dak Prescott, is right-handed. So that means that Tyron protects Dak's blind side.
Right.
Yes.
Just like the Sandra Bullock movie, The Blind Side, about Michael Orr, who had played for the Panthers and Ravens and other various teams. But, not having Tyron, Chaz Green struggled mightily starting in place of Tyron. He was benched with 8 minutes and 18 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and Byron Bell, who has a lot of experience in the league. This is his first year in Dallas. He's originally from Greenville, Texas. He stepped in and finished the game, and so we expect that this week in practice that Byron and Chaz will likely share practice snaps, first team, and we'll see what happens on Thursday. The good news is that Coach Garrett told us yesterday in his weekly press conference on Monday afternoons that Tyron did work out yesterday morning. That doesn't mean a practice. That means just physical workout, running, and doing that. The players. Today it's more meeting and kind of stuff. Tomorrow is the first real practice of the week. But Tyron has not practiced on Wednesdays really for the last year and a half because of his bad back.
He's on the Tony Romo plan a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like the Tony Romo plan with the bad back. And he's also been battling a sore hip this year. But when he injured that groin against the Chiefs, that's what knocked him out. Now, here's the thing. Since he hasn't been practicing on Wednesdays, that means that Chaz has gotten first-team reps every Wednesday for most of the season. And Wednesday is generally when you install the run game. I'm oversimplifying things here. But usually game plan installation. The install is mostly run on Wednesday, pass on Thursday, and then Friday's more specialty kind of stuff, short yardage, goal line, things like that. So, it was really tough for Chaz.
So on Sunday, I kept hearing, and I've heard since Sunday, why didn't we get him help?
Right.
What exactly does that mean? What would have happened to get him help?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think that, to your point, Nikki, I think a lot of people were saying, well, shoot, why does it have to take, 5, 6, 7, 8 sacks for them to be making adjustments? And how much of this do you put on the player, Chaz Green, versus the coaching staff?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, whatever was happening on Sunday wasn't doing the trick. And you couldn't get the run game started. At the end of the day, your quarterback couldn't even get a playoff.
Right. And at some point, I feel like it becomes a liability. We don't want to get him hurt.
Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, on the Dallas Cowboys radio network broadcast, we're like, are you sending Dak Prescott back out there at the end of the game with what has happened? There are two ways that you help a tackle in pass protection. Again, tackle is the outside guy. So the main way is you would have a tight end, in this case, Jason Witten. Okay. Or James Hanna.
The blocking tight ends.
Yes, but, Witten's also a passing tight end. That's why Witten, there are some games where he doesn't get a lot of targets. He's not downfield a lot. He's not going to get a lot thrown his way because he's staying in to help block. So that's the thing. Do you want to take Jason Witten and James Hanna out of the passing game and have them stay in most of the time and help Chaz or whatever tackle? That was one option, and they did it a couple times, but obviously not enough in hindsight. The other way that you help with the pass protection is leaving a running back in, and he would chip or he would help block. So that's one of those terms that you hear all the time. Oh, the back chipped on him. And by that, he means that when the commentator says that, it means that the running back stays in the backfield and will help chip the oncoming pass rusher. A chip would be kind of like just a nudge before you release to go out on a pass route.
Okay.
So or you leave them in at all, just back there to pass protect, period. And it's really important, for example, on the blitz, when you bring more than 4 rushers, when you're trying to a surprise attack. That's what blitz means, from Blitzkrieg, the German Luftwaffe term. So surprise attack, when they bring someone extra, then the running back, if he's in there, he's got to recognize it, he's got to block and pass protect. And that's why someone like Zeke Elliott is so phenomenal. Not is he just a great runner,
Hello.
Great rusher.
He is built.
Great pass. He can catch the ball, but he's stout. And Alfred Morris had a couple of good pickups.
And so, answer me this: if we establish the run, and we can go over the run that we got from Coach, does that then take maybe a little pressure off of that left tackle?
Absolutely.
Having to work so hard.
Absolutely, because because you want to be multidimensional, right? If you can only do one thing, then the defense will gear up on that.
Okay.
Last week we talked about the play action pass, where the quarterback pretends to hand the ball off to the running back, but keeps it and throws it. It makes the defense respect that. They have to react to that for just a split second.
Absolutely.
Right.
Keeps them from dropping into the pass defense, right? Because they have to, just for a split second, react to that run play. So that's why it's so important to be multidimensional. And if I could say one more thing, because in terms of, and this is again something that Jason Garrett talked about really in the walk-off after his press conference, that's where you get the good stuff.
The good stuff, yeah.
So why didn't they give Chaz Green more help? They could have had the tight end stay in more. They could have had the running back stay in more and help, whether it's chip or just stay in to pass protect. Well, it was specially designed. These were all going to be, the passing game was going to be quick passes, where Dak drops back, short drop, and just gets rid of it quickly.
Okay.
Great plan, right?
Yes.
Well, the Atlanta defense did something to take those short passes away. They played the cover 2, the 2 deep. Remember, we talked about that last week. That's where you have 2 safeties, stay deep, each taking their respective sides of the field. That's usually a zone, so you kind of got the umbrella over the top. Well, what Atlanta did was they had the 2 deep, but then they had their corners, the guys who are right up here on the wide receivers, play man and play close up. So by that, since they were right on him, real tight, and taking away the short stuff, Dak couldn't just drop back and get rid of it immediately. Yeah, he did. They took the short passing game away,
right,
which meant that Dak had to hang on to the ball. And with the poor play that we had at left tackle, Dak had to eat the ball several times or run for his life. You don't want your quarterback to be your second leading rusher.
No, and that's what we were just looking at the stats. It's Alfred Morris with 50 some odd yards, your quarterback's second leading rusher in that game. And while you want to give him a pat on the back for trying to solve some things there, at the end of the day, it's a glaring issue. And so I think one of the other things that was interesting to me, I think a lot of times whenever we see some changes on the line, people talk about, well, why don't you just switch from the right side to the left side? Why can't you just do that? I think you saw it last year when you lost Doug Freed. There's going to be some adjustments that need to be made. It's not just easy to just plug and play and say, go ahead for it.
Right.
The chemistry on that O-line, there's a reason why they were great and why they are great, is because it's not just a replacement, next man up kind of mentality. There's something going there, and especially again, to your point, the left side is huge.
Sure, and Chaz Green, it's been a tough year for him. He was our backup swing tackle the previous couple years. This is his 3rd year in the league, and a swing tackle, it means it's the backup to both the left tackle and the right tackle.
Oh, wow.
So, okay. So because the Cowboys only have 8 offensive linemen, all right?
Okay.
And so you have Joe Looney, who's your backup center and guard. You have Byron Bell, who usually is not active on game day because they usually keep only 7 offensive linemen active on game day. He can play either guard or tackle. And then Chaz is your backup left and right tackle, the swing tackle. But Chaz actually started the season and worked in the off-season at guard. Chaz started the first 3 games of this season at left guard. We had lost Ron Leary.
Right.
In the off-season. He got the big $9 million a year average.
Denver?
Yeah.
You at Denver. So great for
Yeah.
Ron. But, now that he's gone, you don't know how much you miss him until they're gone, right?
Right.
But anyway, so Jonathan Cooper, Chaz hurt his hip in practice going into week 4. He lost the starting job, and Jonathan Cooper took over. Well, the thing is, when you lose Tyron Smith, it affects Cooper, right? Because Cooper plays between...
The chain effect.
He plays between 2 all-pro guys in Frederick and Tyron Smith, so that's going to lift his game. So you remove Tyron, and it affects Cooper. The other thing, when you're to your point of all the offensive linemen working together, communication is such an issue. And let me tell you, that Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, hey, there were a lot of Cowboy fans, but I don't know if it was just the acoustics, but that was a loud place on Sunday. And I want to be real careful in saying this because it's like, oh, it's making excuses. But I'm telling you that communication was an issue on the field pre-snap each play. So
it's like whenever you go to Seattle, you always know that you're going to have to figure out how to make the silent count work and how you as a quarterback can be communicating with your linemen and how you can avoid all that because they're known for being loud. And you have to be able to play to your circumstances and your environment. And when you, again, not making excuses, adding in a guy who is the backup for the backup, it's probably going to be a little bit of an uphill struggle.
Yeah, and Travis, the center, is trying to make the calls along the line. So it was definitely a struggle. It affected everything on Sunday.
Well, give us a call, 214-872-2102. I would like to get into the run play.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, let me go ahead and...
The intel.
Yes, the exclusive.
I'm excited about this. This is going to be good.
Oh, so we're going to pull out the explain-a-thing, our high-tech 5 points blue explain-a-thing. Okay. All right, here's going to be a run play. So everybody huddle up. Are you ready? Okay,
ready.
Huddle up. Gun double right 32 post.
Does that make any sense to you?
I got nothing. Like I honestly, like, you know, sorry, Cam, I can go through a route tree, but you lost me on that part.
We went over route trees last week.
Okay. But it is funny because you always hear these, you know, these crazy words they're throwing out there, and you're like, I literally have no idea what it means. And Christy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think sometimes those change each week because you can't be having the same exact, you know, sentence mean the same play each time because. I'm sorry, you know, other teams are smart and they'll figure it out.
Well, you'll have different plays each week. You know, I mean, you have your main playbook, right? But certainly by your opponent, they'll have their different strengths and weaknesses, and you think that you can exploit different things. But the play call in the huddle, so this is Dak, you know, gun double right 32 post. So we just need to know our secret code word. So gun means that Dak's going to be in the shotgun. Okay. So instead of under center with his hands on Travis Frederick, the center's backside, he's 5 years. Yeah. Travis laughs too.
I thought that was funny too.
Yeah. Double right means it's 2 by 2, and the Z, which is the receiver, Z's going to be on the right. There's going to be a true tight end, and then the post means it's a one-back power play.
Okay.
We got that?
Yep.
Can we run it though? Nikki's like,
so that's.
We're gonna go outside real quick and demonstrate that for you guys. Cameras are following us. Don't worry. Like coming up on 5 points blue.
Well, on this, when I say double right, that means, you know, the Z is going to be on the right. We have our 3 receivers, if we remember that from last week.
Yep.
So our X and our, on this one, our X and our F are going to be on our left side.
Okay.
Okay?
I remember Dez is the X. Who's the F?
Well, the F, it could be either, you know, like, it could be, normally F is fullback, and that our starting fullback is Keith Smith, but an F a lot of times can be a tight end that'll line up in different places. So, or we have a thing, we do a lot of 2 tight end set. So it could be Hannah, it could be Witten, Jeff Swaim when he's healthy. So the F isn't just in the back blocking all the time for, it depends, again, on the play. This is just one example of dozens and dozens and dozens of run plays. Okay. But for those that didn't join us last week, you can I'll give you an example of the pass play, and you can just kind of hear the difference, the run play shorter. So gun double right 32 post.
Yeah.
Easy. You know, on to, here we go. Whereas our pass play last week, gun, train right, scat right, 839 F flat. Well, the scat right, that's a pass protection, okay? So there's no pass protection in this one. Mm-hmm. So scat is 6 people protecting our 5 offensive linemen, and in that particular play, an extra, it's the running back who stays in to help. And then the 8, 3, and 9, that's 3 receivers on that play, and it tells them which routes they're going to run.
I remembered that. Did you have a question?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, to your point, Christy, you talked about having the tight ends in there. Again, you know, I think that when Scott Linehan came to this team, Jason Witten, some of these tight ends were tasked with becoming more of blocking tight ends instead of just, you know, mainly receiving. And it's something that's been fun to watch over the years as this team has transitioned to really having a strong run game where they've accepted this other side to their gig, you know, where Jason maybe is more of a secondary player in that play where he's kind of helping, whether it's Zeke, whether it's, you know, Alfred Morris, whether it's D-Mac, those guys shine. So, you know, that for me as a fan, from a fan perspective, has been fun to watch. I mean, guys like Jason Witten are amazing. You know that they're going to be there. Yeah, I always called him when Romo played, I was like, he's Romo's Wooby, you know? Like, when you had nowhere to throw, like, you knew you had 82. But it's cool, too, to see him help other people out other than just, like, the quarterback. So
absolutely.
Yeah, he's a complete tight end, whereas these guys, and this is not to, I mean, Tony Gonzalez, second leading receiver in NFL history, the former Kansas City Chief, and
love him.
Atlanta Falcon, great, but he didn't have to stay in line and help block, okay? Rob Gronkowski, he gets to line up wide. I mean, Gronk is amazing,
right.
but Jason Witten is a true tight end who belongs on the Mount Rushmore of tight ends in the NFL history.
Gronk's out like cracking a beer on the sideline when there's a run play. He's like, I'm good, guys. I'm good.
Well, I do want to get to a question. Connie from Poca, Georgia, she emailed us and she wanted to know, in Atlanta this past weekend, she noticed all the blue tents on the sideline. What are those about?
Oh, that's something new for the NFL this year. Okay. And there is a blue tent on both the visitor and the home sideline at each NFL venue for every game. And we even had it for the Hall of Fame game up in Canton, Ohio, the preseason game up there. And it's a pop-up tent. It only takes 5 seconds to pop up. It's not much bigger than this table that we're sitting at here. And they use it for injuries. So if a player gets injured, they come over, the blue tent pops up, and they go inside. But the main thing that the Cowboys want to use it for is for cognitive evaluations. So, for example, Jeff Heath, who is in the concussion protocol this week, he took a hit to the head. And so when he came over to the sideline, Bob Fowler, who's one of our medical staff, he's the guy that gives the cognitive evaluations, he and the unaffiliated neurological consultant, the UNC, because the NFL has one on each sideline to help with cognitive evaluations, they took Jeff into the blue tent before they took him to the locker room. Same thing happened with Devontae Freeman on the second play from scrimmage, the Falcons running back. It's great. This blue tent pops up, and so
it's like,
yeah, it literally, and not only is it privacy for the players, whether it's a cognitive evaluation or their knee or ankle or whatever, but when you're getting a cognitive evaluation, then you don't have the lights and the ribbon board, see it flashing, and it's a little bit darker. So it's kind of a more, I don't know if sterile environment is the right word, but just kind of darker, calmer, more private. And so it's really good. Dr. Dan Cooper I asked him about it this summer at training camp, and he says we really like what it can do for the giving a cognitive evaluation. And it's part of the efforts with the NFL, the continuing ones for improving player safety and improving cognitive evaluation. The first time we saw these tents was University of Alabama a couple of seasons ago. It was the head athletic trainer for Alabama Athletics who commissioned these engineering students to come up with something for the sideline. They came up with this, and gosh, about a year and a half later, the trainer left Alabama and joined 3 of those engineers, and they started their own company called Kinematic Sports.
Wow.
And let me guess, is that the brain on the field we have now?
Well, what's great, actually, I did speak with one. I think I got time to tell this story. I spoke with one of those engineers who is co-owner of the company. I was talking to him on the sideline at the Hall of Fame game, and these are used. There are over 100 NCAA football teams that use these now, but they're also selling a lot to high schools, and it's also great for like gymnastics, cross country. They also had been talking to FEMA, to the Marine Corps, because what it is it's basically mobile triage units.
Right.
So I don't know if they've gotten those contracts, but anyway, it makes sense if see some disaster.
I mean, I'm a big fan of them because I think in the past you always would see them kind of go off to the side on a bench and just kind of be doing their stuff and trying to check them out and huddle over them. And you've got the cameras coming on top and they're trying to see, like, does he look dazed? Does he look confused? And now it's one of those things where they can just quickly pop it up, get the player in there, get your docs in there, figure out if you need to go further to the locker room or if he's good to, get back in there in a few minutes. So absolutely. I'm a huge fan. I think it's smart.
To your point, the lights. I mean, when you're concussed, those lights can cause even more damage.
Sure. And these boards, with these ribbon boards, and we had that halo board at very
neat,
cool at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Went around the perimeter of the ceiling, 360 degrees. It was very high, but it kind of went from one end zone to the other and across it. It really felt, and then it's a dome stadium. I mean, I really thought I was waiting for a tribute's picture to show up. I felt like I was in the Hunger Games.
Or to get beamed up or something crazy like that. You're like, I don't really know what this is. I think it's cool until it does something crazy.
Yeah, but that was thank you, Connie. That was a great question.
Yes, it was. Thank you, Connie. Well, our time is up
already. Kelsey, thank you.
So fast.
Yes, of course. Thank you all so much for having me.
You have to come back.
I will. Perfect. Twist my arm. Shoot. No.
Hey, next week, since it'll go into Thanksgiving, send us your questions about Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll tell the story about how the Cowboys got the tradition, why they in Detroit get to host it every year, and we'll promise some Turkey Day fun facts.
I'm sure a lot of people don't know that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm
ready for it.
Yeah, next week we'll have it.
Great. Thank you.
This has been a production of 5 Points Blue, DallasCowboys.com, and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.